Some women don't chase, and yet they're never forgotten. Not because they speak the loudest or need to be seen, but because they vanish with their dignity intact and leave a man alone with the one thing he fears most, himself. She enters quietly, not to please, not to prove, but simply to be, to exist in her wholeness, the way moonlight exists in a night sky, radiant, yet reserved. He doesn't understand it at first. He only feels the pull, the way the tide answers the moon, without knowing why. He tells himself it's attraction, but it's more dangerous than that. It's recognition. Deep in his psyche, in the caverns Jung called the shadow, he senses her power. Not the power of seduction, but the power of reflection. She becomes a mirror, unforgiving, silent, and true. He begins to retreat, though she never stepped forward. He pulls back, though she never leaned in. His ego whispers lies to protect itself. She's too much. She's too mysterious. She wants control. But underneath those layers of projection is a trembling boy who never learned to hold a woman without needing to own her, who mistook emotional depth for danger, who cannot sit still in the presence of a feminine force that does not bend to be chosen. He doesn't say it, but he feels it. He is not ready for her, and so he plays it cool. He ghosts. He confuses silence for safety. What he doesn't realize is that silence is her native language. She notices the shift, not with panic, but with a piercing clarity, the way an owl notices the drop in wind before the storm. She doesn't react. Because a woman rooted in her worth doesn't chase shifting shadows. She studies them. This isn't the first time she's felt a man's nervous withdrawal. She knows the signs, the delayed texts, the disappearing warmth, the sudden confusion that wasn't there when he was hungry for her attention. What he feels, but will not say, is that her presence stirred something primal. It made him confront the edges of his own incompleteness, and he mistook that discomfort for danger. In his mind, she becomes too intense, too independent, too still. He starts looking for flaws to justify his retreat. He needs a reason to believe she's the problem. Why? Because if she's the problem, he doesn't have to change. He doesn't have to confront the ghosts in his chest, the parts of himself he locked away when love became survival. Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate." And so he blames fate. Bad timing, distance, or her refusal to need him in the way he understands, through emotional debt. He doesn't realize yet. What he pushes away now, he will remember later. Then, without warning, she's gone. Not in anger, not in drama, just gone. Like smoke slipping through an open window. Like a dream he forgot to write down, now fading in the morning sun. No closure, no long explanations, just the echo of her absence, louder than her presence ever was. This is when he feels the most, but says the least. Because now, it's too late to pretend. Her silence is no longer a mirror, it is a void, and the things he buried begin to speak. Longing, regret, obsession, and something he will never admit out loud, respect. She doesn't return. Because the woman who sees herself clearly cannot unsee. She understands now. It was never about her not being enough. It was about him not being ready. Not ready to meet a woman who doesn't beg for crumbs of affection. Not ready to love without dominance. Not ready to be seen without a mask. Her detachment isn't cold. It is conscious. It is the result of shadow work. Of unlearning the addiction to being chosen. Of knowing that real love doesn't demand self-abandonment. She becomes magnetic not because she tries, but because she walks in wholeness. He will feel it all. Just not when she's there to hear it. Because some men don't know what they lost, until the silence shows them what they were never ready to keep. And the woman who walks away in silence isn't weak. She simply sees more.